Last week was World Stroke Week, and we got to see Liberty Group SA, along with Stroke Survivors Foundation and the Heart and Stroke Foundation, not only trying to raise awareness around heart health and stroke, but also raising funds. Valesa got the chance to catch up with them at the SSF annual golf day at Wanderers Golf Club in Johannesburg. She had fun. Check this out.
The Wanderers Golf Club, where the Stroke Survivor Foundation Golf Day has kicked off in full swing. Now, the aim of today is to raise awareness around the causes of strokes. They'll also be holding an auction to help raise funds for stroke survivors. This session here today will be broken up into two parts, starting off with a roundtable discussion that focuses on bridging the gap. Challenges to post-discharge stroke survivor support and care, where Liberty's Dr. Dominique Stott will shed some light on the topic. Can you please tell me what the importance is of Liberty's partnership with the Stroke Survivor Foundation? How does this partnership enable you to live out your brand promise of being in it with you?
The time when somebody has, in this case, a stroke, is a time when they are in a situation where their whole life is out of control. Their families don't know what's going on, they don't know what to expect next, and the aim of our partnership with the Stroke Survivors Foundation is to allow the Stroke Survivors Foundation to step in and guide people through the process of what's going to happen next.
So how important is preventative care, and what role does Liberty play?
At the end of a claim is an unhealthy person, and the number of times people have said, "It's not the money, it's I want my life back." And if they had had a healthy lifestyle to start with, this claim might not have happened. Nothing can take away from the good health that one would have had if that stroke or heart attack or cancer could have been prevented.
And finally, Doctor, what is the value of long-term insurance in the event of a stroke?
After the rehabilitation, which might or might not be paid for by a medical aid, but the person then goes home to their families and now starts a real rehabilitation process around the family surroundings, the home, building a ramp, getting a new car. That's a very expensive business, not necessarily covered by any other funding, and that's where a long-term insurance policy, such as a critical illness claim or a disability claim, can come into the fore.
In South Africa, strokes are among the top 10 leading causes of disability and accounts for 25,000 deaths annually. South Africans are encouraged to utilize resources provided by the Stroke Survivor Foundation and the Heart Stroke Foundation to empower themselves with the right information on strokes. Can you please tell me just a little bit more about the long-term effects and repercussions that strokes have on those affected, specifically the sufferers and their families?
When you get home, that's at your most weakest and fragile. So they see what's come home and they're kind of in shock. Okay, they have no clue how to deal with you. Simple example, transferring you from a wheelchair to bed. They haven't been shown, they don't know. Families have been divorced, families have fallen apart. So what happens when the main breadwinner loses his job? Puts pressure on the family. So the implications of a stroke can be years and years and years.
Last year we paid about 10 billion in claims, and a lot of it spoke to dread disease. And a disability or dread disease such as a stroke actually has an impact, a far wide-reaching impact on communities and families. So if we can come in and try and assist in that regard and try and get people to be reintegrated into society by the millions of claims that we pay, I think that's a very good partnership.
Liberty understands the difficulty and the trauma of facing a life-changing event, such as the diagnosis of cancer, suffering a stroke, or a heart attack. Such an event not only affects you, but those who need to take care of you. Partnering with these organizations is a commitment to ensure that South Africans do not face these health challenges on their own. The sponsorship will help create more awareness around improving the physical health and encourage more preventative action.
The inaugural 2022 event winners, sponsored by Liberty, In It With You, first place with the score of 44 points. 44 points. Esnale and T. Letsebe. A big round of applause for our winners for the Stroke Survivors Foundation Golf Day. Thank you.
Liberty has partnered with some of South Africa's leading preventative health organizations to help combat and support the fight against dread disease. The Heart and Stroke Foundation, the Cancer Association of South Africa, and the Stroke Survivors Foundation, which is why we need to place importance on days like today as an opportunity to raise awareness and funds.